Now, the keenly awaited Coaldrake report, which is looking at integrity issues within the Queensland Public Service, has just been released this afternoon. Joining me now is Sky News Queensland Editor Peter Gleeson, joining us from the Gold Coast. Gleeso, what's it say?
Well, Chris, the name of this particular report is Let the Sunshine In, but a dark cloud still hangs over integrity in Queensland. Peter Coaldrake had a great opportunity to call for a Royal Commission to get to the bottom of the dysfunctionality in the public sector in Queensland. Instead, he's just rolled the arm over. He actually identified in the report, and it only came out about 20 minutes ago, Chris, so you can see that they're sending out the trash late in the day, that the culture within the public service is too tolerant to bullying, and that is as a result of short-term political thinking. Now, that in itself is damning enough, but then the report and the recommendations are just, as I said, throwing the arm over. The independence of the position of the Auditor-General be strengthened. Well, of course it should be strengthened. They're the guys that have been blowing the whistle on what's been going on in Queensland, that the lobby regulations be strengthened. Well, she announced that today. The Premier of Queensland announced today that they'd be increasing the regulations around lobbying. A greater role for the Public Sector Commission. Well, fantastic. But it's the Public Sector Commission has been the one putting the heat on the Integrity Commissioner. So someone like Nicholas Stepanoff and, of course, Mike Summerhayes, the former state archivist, they will be incredibly disappointed at this particular report. He even makes reference to the fact that this is not just endemic to Queensland, but throughout the country. So, look, I think there'll be a lot of people who'll be disappointed today, and I think that the name of the report, Let the Sunshine In, is far from that.
Let the sunshine into the Sunshine State, hey? Yeah, more controls on lobbyists. You talk about bullying in the public service. Well, then, if they're being bullied, then someone must be bullying them. Do they actually outline where any of that bullying's occurred by politicians?
Chris, they don't, but I can tell you now that part of the problem in Queensland, the dysfunctionality that is endemic in the public service in Queensland, comes from the fact that they have Director Generals who basically shape the outcomes of their department to what the ministers want. Now, Coaldrake says he sat down with 100 former DGs and ministers when he put this report together. That's a lot of meetings with a lot of senior or former senior people, and he's come up with this. I think it's incredibly disappointing. I think he had an opportunity to call for a wider inquiry. Whether the terms of reference weren't broad enough for him, who knows? But it's the old saying, you know, a government never commissions an inquiry unless they actually know what's going to come out of it. And in this particular instance, they've dodged a bullet, that's for sure.
Yeah, sounds like a bit of a damp squib. Thanks for joining us, Gleeso. I appreciate it.
See you, Chris.